He's also progressed the way that you want.
Oh yeah, yeah. He and TJ Moore. I mean, they're on their way to being grown men. You know, they both look totally different than they did this, last year at this time, and in every aspect, physically, mentally. You know, TJ had just gotten here this time last year and had a lot to learn. So both those guys in a good spot.
Coach, when you go into fall camp, what are your biggest goals or things that are top of mind to either address right away or get everything going in a positive direction to start?
Yeah, just our practice habits. I mean, how we practice. You don't create game habits on game day. Those what you do on game day is a reflection of how you practice, and so creating game habits at practice. And so that's just setting the tone for that, how you practice, how we prepare, how we meet, also, how they recover, how they take care of their body, all of those things. Obviously, building team, that's a big part of camp, is now you're getting ready to be together all day, every day, from morning until 10 o'clock at night. We're together every day, all day for the next 2.5 weeks. There's no school, there's nothing, it's just football. And so the team aspect of it, making sure we come out of this thing, together, and then how to practice, like how to practice the right way against each other. That's also a big part, as we get going, early part of camp. So those are the main things, and just making sure that our conditioning is where it needs to be, et cetera. So that's always where it starts when we get out on camp. And and obviously you got the football stuff where you're going to get your installation in. You got to install your offense, install your defense, your kicking game. You really want to, spend a lot of time, because you have a lot of time, on the fundamentals, the techniques. The other thing is you want to evaluate your young guys. So it's the first time we've been on the field with a lot of these guys, and so we rep everybody. There's no clock when it comes to 20-hour rule and all that stuff. So we get everybody reps. So there's just a lot that you're trying to get done in a short amount of time in these next couple of weeks. So when we come into school that Wednesday, 10 days out or whatever, hey, now it changes. Now your time changes. You're repping 2 groups. You got scout teams, the whole deal. So we got a lot of decisions to make these next couple of weeks. But again, it just starts with the basics, how to practice, and again, the basics of what we do offensively, the base install, and then we go from there. Because you try to install as much as you can in fall camp, so that you can grab onto that. Not all for the first game, but it was game 4. But it's something that you installed in fall camp that you built a foundation with.
On that note, though, when you have such an experienced roster, so many guys on this team that have gone through several preseason camps, does it feel like you're starting steps ahead in terms of that preseason preparation?
Well, I mean, you have a bunch of guys that can do more, day one, but you're only as good as your weakest link. So, we start over every year, and you got to fall in love with the basics. It's just that simple. It doesn't matter if you've been here 4 years or whatever. It all starts with the basics, and that's what you got to be fanatical about. Because in the end, those are the things that win or lose for you. So, we got some guys that could go out there and play right now, from a mental standpoint, ready to go. But, you're only as good as that weakest link. So we got to make sure that everybody is where they need to be.
What went into the decision to not publicize the results from the big weigh-in yesterday?
I didn't even know we printed that stuff. He asked me if I wanted to. I was like, did we put that out? And I was like, well, we don't need to put that out. Just let them ask me about it. I know we've always videoed the whenever we started video and stuff. But, I didn't really see a need to put it out and send that to our opponents and all that stuff. Just let them keep guessing.
Larry,
but I'm happy to answer any questions for y'all.
You mentioned nickel before, talking Jamal Anderson. We played last year 210 to 15. Where do you want him to be? Do you want him to fill in?
I think he was like 226 or something yesterday. He looked great. But, he just got he missed all spring, really wasn't out there. So it's a big year for him. we need him, you know. So I mean, he needs to jump in there at will and get ready to roll. He could play some Sam in certain personnel situations, but you know, we got him kind of penciled in there, I think, at will to see what he can do. You know, but biggest thing is just getting out there and going. He wasn't in a position to compete physically, and now he is. You know, he's not going to play linebacker for us at 200 pounds. You know, but he's done the work. He's put himself in a good spot, and you know, so now he's got a chance to go compete, and we'll see what he can do. Been a great special teams guy for us, but he needed a little girth, and so he's looks good. He's really done what he needs to do and bought into it.
What else for Coach?
Coach, you go through some culture killers as you install the program, and I'm just curious if there was one that.
Didn't you just go from over there to now you're over here?
Yeah, I'm just trying to multitask.
Okay, you're multitasking. Okay, all right.
But I saw you talking about the culture killers during the program installation. I'm curious if one stood out this year or one that you really focus on, and how you try to not have that creep in.
No, I focus on area. We spend, you know, it's part of our all-in meetings as a staff. We go through a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that we cover, a lot of stuff that we talk about. You know, that's leadership, it's philosophy, it's motivation, inspiration, you name it, learning lessons, et cetera. We go through a lot of things, you know, obviously in addition to our roster and football and all that stuff. But, no, it's just part of our annual deal. There wasn't anything. We got a great culture, but I think it's one of those things you gotta work on daily. You know, that's part of, I call those meetings, that's our program installation and culture infusion, if you will, you know, to make sure that it's connected, that everybody understands, you know, who we are, you know, not just what we do, how we do it, but why we do it, the way we do it, and that we're all, you know, on the same page, and everybody knows what everybody's responsibility is, and it's a real A to Z, and that's just a part of the leadership development piece. There's a lot of leadership development that goes into that. So it's just a part of it.
You see Elijah Thurman getting most of his reps.
He can play anywhere. I mean, he could start at guard. He could start at tackle. I mean, I think right out of the gate he'll probably try to battle at guard, you know. But I mean, he started at left tackle for us last year. So he's also working at center. You know, he those of you who remember him in the recruiting process, he snapped some in high school too. So he's another guy that we're really developing across the board. But he could play anywhere, you know. And we're really fortunate from that standpoint because we got a couple of guys like that, like Sadler, Elijah. Those two guys, you know, could really play anywhere. You know, I think Sadler's been working on some snapping as well. Just trying to create as much depth as possible. But, you know, Sadler could go play left tackle, right guard, right guard, and I'd put Elijah in the same category. So it gives us a lot of, because again, who's your best five? And in our case, we legitimately have 7 starters in the offensive line. Not like 7 guys that they have, like these are 7 guys that absolutely could start for us, 7 guys that will play no matter who runs out there first. Day one, all right? I don't see any form or fashion, unless somebody's hurt, that those 7 guys don't play. So, you know, who's the 8th? You know, I'd say Braden's right there, you know, and then we kind of go from there. You know, Dietrich and Wade and Easton, and we start getting into, you know, our younger guys. But I think we got a chance. I want us to come out of camp with 10, but we got 7 starters. And, you know, we just got to cross-train some of them. And Sadler and Thurman are 2 guys that give us some opportunity. You know, so we'll see how it goes.
In terms of Gideon Davidson, where do you think he grew the most during spring, or does he still have to grow?
Just knowledge. I mean, just you know, first time getting here and just learning what to do, learning how to line up, learning what the protections are, learning what the language was. That's where he's grown the most. Physically, he's gifted. He showed up here that way. God blessed him, and he's just even better than he was physically because he's had a whole off season. So, you know, physically he's really gifted, but where he's grown the most is just mentally. You know, again, he's not running out there. Like he knows where to go line up today. He knows where Indy period, he knows what practice looks like. He's just mentally further along because he went through the spring. So that's a blessing for him. And so as we get into our day one installation today, he's done it. He went through it in the spring. He went through it this summer. So this is his third time to get installation. So just mentally, he's a lot further along. And you know what I want to see from him is, you know, is he further along from a performance standpoint when it comes to really ownership of the offense, protections, you know, really dialing in on that type of stuff.
Avon's still at 180-ish?
Yeah, he's somewhere in the 80s. Looks great. I think he's about 188, maybe, something like that.
Ryan Wesco, 190.
Yep, he's 190-ish, 191, somewhere in there. Looks great. Yep.
Anyone else for Coach?
For a guy like Kobe, I think last year was in 20 guys, English guys, heavy packages on defense. I guess him returning from ACL has kind of rebuilt his confidence in himself after his injury in the season.
Yeah, he's done well. He was out, you know, all spring for sure, so he's been working his way back. But you know, last year he was kind of in our top four, you know, group, and we had a lot of confidence in Kobe. But you know, unfortunately, he got hurt, and you know, just kind of had to start over from that standpoint. Go get healthy. So he didn't really. He got out there, I think, in some green jersey stuff this spring, but he wasn't able to get any live stuff. So he looks great. I mean, he looks great physically. He's strong. You know, Kobe's a football dude. You know, he don't say a whole lot, but he's a football guy. You know, he understands the game. He's not as big as some people, but he really knows how to use what he has. I mean, he's a good football player. So, you know, he's a guy that we need. You know, he gives us another veteran guy. And so he's a guy that we need to step up and come through for us, because that's one of the goals that we got to achieve coming out of fall camp is the depth at linebacker. Like, we got to walk out of camp, okay, hey, we got 5 guys that we can play and go get it done with. And then, okay, where's young Wood as? You know, he looks amazing, by the way. He's 220-something pounds. I mean, there ain't much difference between it. He looks great. But where's young Wood as? Where's C.J. Kuba-Taylor, who looks great? Where's he at? Logan Anderson. I can't wait to see Logan Anderson. He's the first time I've seen him. You know, he's 200, I think he was 226, 227. He's a good football player. I have yet to see him take one rep because, you know, he didn't get to practice this spring. So where are those guys? But we got to come out of camp really feeling good about, you know, 5 or 6 guys. And we need Kobe to, you know, show he's one of those guys.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Coach.
All right, let's get ready. The boys are back in town. Let's do it.